So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him, and Lot went with him. And Abram was 75 years old when he departed from Haran. Then Abram took Sarai his wife, and Lot his brother's son, and all their possessions that they had gathered, and the people whom they had acquired in Haran. And they departed to go to the land of Canaan. So they came to the land of Canaan. Genesis chapter 12, verses 4 through 5. So Abram departed as the Lord had spoken to him. Genesis chapter 12, verse 4. Abram did not delay or debate. He obeyed. His faith was active, not theoretical. He left at 75 years old, showing that obedience has no age limit in Yahweh's call. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 8. By faith Abraham obeyed when he was called to go out to the place which he would receive as an inheritance, and he went out not knowing where he was going. This departure is the first recorded pilgrimage of faith. The call from became full surrender in Haran. Abram now walks entirely under divine guidance. Terah left for Canaan, but stopped in Haran. Therefore, Abram has to pick up the journey that Terah left off. And Lot went with him. Genesis chapter 12, verse 4. Abram's nephew. Lot represents those who follow the faithful out of association, not personal conviction. His future choices towards Sodom show the danger of following faith without full surrender. Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? And we're going to see this when Lot and Abraham dispute over the land. Remember, Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Can two walk together unless they are agreed? Lot's journey begins with promise but ends in compromise, serving as a warning that faith cannot be borrowed. It must be personal. So they came to the land of Canaan. Genesis chapter 12, verse 5. Canaan represents the covenant promise, the inheritance of those who walk by faith, not by sight. Spiritually, it foreshadows the heavenly Canaan, the new earth promised to the faithful. Notice in Hebrews chapter 11, verse 16. But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly country. Therefore Yahweh is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. Abram's arrival is symbolic of the believer's entrance into the life of faith. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5 says, But without faith it is impossible to please God. For he who comes to God must believe that he is God and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Leaving the world behind and walking in the promise of eternal inheritance. Every detail in this journey mirrors the experience of God's end-time remnant, God's end-time loipos. Leaving Haran, entering Canaan, taking possessions and people. We too are called to leave Babylon or leave Haran, leaving spiritual complacency. Entering Canaan, entering New Jerusalem, which starts now, not when Yeshua comes. Yeshua said the kingdom of God is in you. Men, look, the kingdom of God will not come with observation, but the kingdom of God is already here. The kingdom of God is in you. So entering Canaan, stepping into that covenant life of obedience and faith. And then taking possessions and people, carrying with you the influence of truth to bless others. Remember, Abraham said, or Yahweh said to Abraham, in you I would bless the nations. So the symbolic parallels of Abraham's story and the end time remnant. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 10. For he waited for the city which has foundations, whose builder and maker is God. Just as Abram was a pilgrim in the land, so are believers today, strangers and sojourners looking for a better kingdom. 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 11. It says, Beloved, I beg you as sojourners and pilgrims, abstain from fleshly lusts, which war against the soul, having your conduct honorable among the Gentiles, that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may, by your good works which they observe, glorify God in the day of visitation. 1 Peter chapter 2, verses 11 and 12. Abraham's unquestioning obedience was one of the most striking evidences of faith to be found in all the Bible. Leaving home, kindred, and country, he went forth without knowing whither he went. Abraham became a pilgrim and a stranger. He was content to be a wanderer because his eyes were fixed upon the promise of God. Ellen G. White, Patriarchs and Prophets, page 126 through 127. His eyes were fixed on the promises of God, she says. Why? Because he seeks first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will fall into place. Just as Abraham's obedience marked the beginning of the covenant people, so the remnant, the Loipas Church today, must walk in the same faith of Abraham, leaving behind every comfort for the sake of truth. The Father is searching for those who worship him in spirit and truth. Abraham's story teaches that true faith always moves forward. The call of God is not a one-time decision, but a lifelong journey. When Abram obeyed, Yahweh began to unfold his promise step by step, and he'll do the same for you. When Abram obeyed, God began to unfold his promise step by step, and he'll do the same for you. Psalms chapter 37, verse 23. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. No matter where you begin, Haran, or your own place of spiritual stagnation or complacency, when you respond to Yahweh's voice, he leads you to your Canaan, the place of his promise, peace and presence. For here we seek no continuing city, but we seek the one to come. Hebrews chapter 13, verse 14. This was Genesis chapter 12, verses 4 through 5, Exegesis.